Hello! Welcome to How to Grow a Garden. I'm Scarlett. Today I'm over at the big house in the fenced-in garden of the big house. I guess I haven't really shown you guys any of this. This is the old garden. This garden is ancient. The house was built in 1840. 1840. Now living in Europe, I can tell you that's not that old, but being in Canada, that's pretty old, so it's kind of exciting. The house is not livable. You could stay for the weekend, you could stay for a few days, but I wouldn't want to move into it. It's got serious rot going on. There's no railing in the stairs. The bathroom is questionable, very questionable. Most of the rooms are mostly gutted. There's no kitchen. I personally think the best room in the whole house is the basement because it's freshly done, maybe like 15 years ago, but it looks pretty good. Every other room in the house needs serious work. So anyway, so the house is here and the garden around the house. So this is the garage and we're going to turn that into Beau's workshop. And then we're gonna have a little gate coming over here and walking up this path here and then up to the house so that you can get in, because right now the only way to get into the garden and to the house is through the garage. Yeah, so I won't be showing you guys the inside of the house. It is a very old, very ancient house, and really, if I had the time, the energy, the money, and the ability and the privilege someday, I would love to turn it into an old schoolhouse, to restore it to almost a historical site, like an 1840 house that has, you know, 2 rooms upstairs, 1 big room downstairs, a tiny little kitchen, and that's about it, and just use it for workshops and art projects and such things, because we want to build a house over there. Or we may not do that. We'd love to stay living in our little cottage because it's so awesome, and really I don't need that much. I am quite happy and humble being small and comfortable in my little space. So that's the 411 on what's going on with the house and the property here. Now the garden, this is a gardening channel and I want to talk about gardening, so I probably will not mention the house again because it's really not important. Originally these were thyme. These are beautiful thyme paths, and then somebody decided to take them out and turn them into a more city-like style, which is fine, and they're beautiful. They really are. I saw them last year. I like them a lot. The other thing I don't like about them is they require an awful lot of weeding, and I just don't have that much time in my day, really. There's just so much else to do. So I'm going to walk around and show you a little bit of what's going on. The paths go everywhere. They're incredible. I started trying to figure them out last year and weeding them and digging them out, and it was like one path discovery after another. So yeah, so I raked the paths today and cleaned them all up. I got all of the horse manure off the path, which is obviously important, and I collected it because it's extremely awesome. I want to keep that and use that for things. So over here behind me, can you see that? Yeah, remember that huge crazy storm we had a few days ago? Well, that tree decided to fall down, but luckily it didn't hit the house. So this is a little beyond me, just because it's going to be so much work and so much time, and I don't have a chainsaw with me, and ugh. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to ignore that it happened and hope that I can find some volunteers and some friends who want to come over and help me remove that, because while it doesn't look that big from here, it is pretty huge, and it's all over the garden on this side. It's all over the south side of the garden. Yeah, it's also crushed on the fence. This piece, that is a huge piece. Like, there's no way I could move that. The house has an outdoor shower, which is really cute. I like it. It's very cute. It needs a ton of work. It really needs to come down and go back up if you're gonna have an outdoor shower. But the grapes that grow on it in the spring or in the summer are just beautiful. This is a walnut tree right there, big beautiful walnut tree. And this is, I think, a pear tree. There's a pear tree and an apple tree, or an apple tree and a pear tree. Neither one produce. You always need 2. You always need 2. So if you have an apple tree, you need a second apple tree so that the bees will go back and forth from one to the other and cross-pollinate. They're not self-pollinating plants. So if you have one, you won't have any fruit. It's still a beautiful tree. And of course, someday I will get some more fruit trees, and then they will all start producing. Then that's the little garden shed. And this is bee balm. There's tons of bee balm here, and I'm not entirely sure what grows there at the moment. That's the back of the garage. It's actually really pretty in the back. the new entrance is going to go here on that fence, and then it's going to come down that way, and then up through here to this part. You see how teeter-tottery that is? I took down, and this is, my camera is not twisted, I'm staying straight. I took down a whole bunch of these in the fall, like a whole bunch. I don't know, 4, 5 of them. They were everywhere. I mean, they're still everywhere. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another one here. Plus, this one is 6, and then there's another one there, making 7. And then there's the shower, which is actually made of a few things. I think originally that was like a little love seat cove kind of thing you could put in your garden. So that's 7. Then there's another one behind me back here, which makes 8. And then that very odd construction, which I think is made of a whole bunch of bedposts and such. This one is 9, but that one's actually like 2 or 3 in 1. And there was a giant one here, which was also just made of bed frames and springs. It was made of bed springs. So that one went, and it's so much nicer. It's so much nicer. You can come in, you can move, you can walk. I believe that the garden should speak for itself. Things like this and all of these don't need to be here. This one's good. You have a kick of that. Look at the door. It does close. It's open right now. It's got a rock in front of it, so I can let the goats come and go as I'm working. But yes, we are going to be replacing these with some nice proper arches and proper wooden doors, and possibly even a little bit of a fence where the garage is, which will be the workshop. I'd like to put a little wooden fence coming down here, and then this arch, and the same thing on the other side, and then the other arch, so you can come in either side. So when you look down the lane, you'll see the workshop, and then you'll see these 2 beautiful fences, which will give us a little more privacy. So today I just want to show you guys around a little bit. This is another path, and I'm just wandering the path right now. This one goes up and around, and I can show you what's going on if I walk backwards a little bit. So this little path goes up and around and over there, and then there's going to be a gate at the end. There isn't a gate yet. It's just an opening in the fence where I've twisted the fence backwards so the animals can go around. And sooner than later, we're going to have to build a run for the chickens. We have a funeral to go to in a few weeks, and we'll be gone for a whole, I don't know, 2 days, and I've got friends that are going to come and stay here. But I want to make sure that the animals are safe and secure in their space, that they're not out roaming the property. And also, of course, the moment spring happens, you don't want the birds having access to the garden. That's really important. The chickens, the ducks. I have a turkey now, little baby turkey. He's adorable. He's in the house at the moment in a brooder. So today I'm out and about. I'm just raking the paths, cleaning up the property, trying to get rid of any garbage I find. And this is all the forest garden, which is going to be really, really amazing. I did a ton of work on that last year, getting it ready, getting it pretty, getting it cleaned up. And again, you're probably thinking, why in the world are you raking the forest? But you know what? When you guys see these videos in June and July and you're able to look back at the beginning, it's going to be stunning. Stunning. If you have taken any time at all to look at the garden we had in Watercolor in Germany, northern Germany, it was pretty amazing, right? It really, really was. Especially when it was all done and cleaned up and perfect on like those perfect days where I knew someone was coming and I spent all my time making it awesome. I spent all my time making it awesome every single day, but it was amazing. I'm so happy with how that turned out. This is going to be the same, but much, much, much bigger. So the girls are out. Right, yes, I went to, did I tell you guys? It's probably on my other channel on how to homestead with Scarlett Damern. I went to the bird auction and I got rid of 15 roosters. Yes, so good. So we have 1 rooster left that originally stayed with us. He's a white, beautiful white silky. And we have a second rooster. I bought a rooster, can you believe it? Oh my goodness. He's a rooster, there's a pair. There's a rooster and a hen, and they're mini. They're tiny little bantams. They're even smaller than typical bantams. They're really small. And they're also really, really, really beat up. So this was a real rescue situation. I brought them home, and they're in the porch in the daytime and in the house at night. Definitely not in the house during the day. First of all, they stink and they crow and they drive me crazy all morning. But they have to be in the house because they have no feathers. And they've been eaten. They've been beaten up. Like the poor rooster, he has no tail feathers. His whole tail is all damaged. Anyway, if you're interested in any of that, go over to my homesteading channel and I'll tell you more about what's going on when it comes to the animals and such. Behind me, I'm gonna do a little loopity-loop. Behind me is my pile of hay. Did I tell you guys about the hay I spent $120 last year on a ridiculously huge amount of rotten hay. Normally it costs $4 a bale and I got them for $1 a bale. And then we also brought in llama poop last year, and that's, if I swing around again, I hope I'm not making you guys seasick with all this swinging. There we go. So these are the 2 raised beds that I built last year, and they're full of llama poop and shavings, and they're very hugelkultur based. They've got the straw on the bottom to fill the bottom of the raised bed. The one on the far right, is that my right or your right? Anyway, the further one is already planted with seeds. If we have a frost, it will fall below freezing a few times, but if we have a frost after the seeds germinate and start popping up, then I will come out and replant the bed. I just put a few in, but enough that I want to get a little bit going at a time. So the far bed's been planted. The front one obviously is still a mess from before. These are some 2x4s. Bo's been putting in, he's been making a few tiny alterations to the cabin. Nothing exciting, truly. Oh, and I did this a few days ago, and I totally forgot to tell you guys about it. So yeah, this is the forest garden, and that pole, that's my lever. There goes my little rabbit hopping around. This set of stairs was not here. Where are those goats? This was one giant mess of rocks, and it really wasn't pretty. Like, it looked like this mess of rocks. It's not pretty. It's all mixed with wood chips and garbage and such, so I need to go through that. Now, I don't actually get rid of that. I don't take it away forever. I take it away a little bit, compost it, bring it back. I'm going to plant all of this up with echinacea and, I don't know, 30 other medicinal herbs and flowers and such things that will be really useful. It's all going to go along here. Somewhere in here, too, I want a nettles bed. And again, I'm thinking, you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, what are you talking about? Nettles is extremely, extremely good for you. So I will also be planting a nettles bed so I can make nettles tea. And then down on this side, this is a giant ridge. So down on this side, there's going to be a big stairs going all the way down to where my studio will be. So lots and lots and lots of stuff to come. I will attempt to bring you guys along for most of it, or at least show you clips of what's going on. This year, we're going to be talking about starting from the basics. We'll be planning this out, talking more about some of the specifics, like how I'm doing my stone paths and how I'm designing where my kitchen garden will be versus where the herbs will be, and how to do a forest garden, and how to set up a bread oven or a pizza oven, how to build an outdoor fire pit. So there'll be a lot of fun things coming. Don't go anywhere. And of course we will do a lot of gardening too. I've got tons of that. The cottage, now you can see the lane going up to the cottage. And there's the garage. And then it continues going that way. And if we continue way down here, this might be a little bumpy. These are all lilacs on the side. See, from there, down here. And yes, I cut this grass and keep the lane nice and clear. Then it opens up into pasture 1, which needs a lot of work because there's not a lot growing in there. We have the old barns and the fire pit and the stages around the barn, and then there's a little path that goes up the hill and over the hill and down the hill to a very huge pasture at the very far back of the property. There's another little pasture back here, and this property goes like 15 minutes, or yeah, about 15-minute walk in all directions out there. This is raspberries, and to make my trip shorter, we'll just go this way. We're going to replace all these old doors with wood doors, and then there's space. So I'm going to go this way. Just follow the babies here. This is my little bench for hanging out, watching the world, specifically the animals. And way over here we have Russell. He's not having a very good day. His foot's a little sore. So he's not, yeah, that foot, isn't it? So he's not really coming out of his house. And then this is the forest garden. And it's really, really pretty. Path going down here that takes you out to the yard, to the driveway that way, the lane that way, and this is the cottage driveway. I don't know if you can make it out, but there are little paths. That's a giant pile of wood that we're still stacking. And way over there is this really neat place to sit. And this has all been landscaped. I'm not finished, but it's pretty good. So the children can run in circles here without hurting themselves. So that's the exit. The official entrance and exit is here with these little stones, and then our picnic table. And there's another row, a little path going back there to those, and I'll show you what that looks like. Chairs. There's the barn. There's the cottage. That gray thing in the background is the house. And then this is the ridge. And it's pretty windy. This is the first ridge. There's a lot of garbage down here. It's all like 50, 60 years old, so it's glass and tin. And the ridge, it's really hard to see, but it goes way, way down there. All the way down to where that tree is, which is a good 20 feet drop. That bird almost hit me in the head. Thanks for watching. Toodaloo.